Hey, welcome back to the Disney Plus Celebrity Challenge. Today we have Drain, the sunken pirate city. Yeah, this is a 47-minute documentary from the Drain series. We've seen a number of these. It's pretty much, if you're confused why, if they actually ever drained a sunken city or parts of an ocean or whatever. No, that's not the case. What they do is they map things out with digital scanners, drones, and things like that scour the area of the ocean where they're searching, and they are able to create a digital map in 3D, and then use that to explore and exhume, in a sense, and examine what they find on the ocean floor and determine what happened in this case to this city. Happened in 1762 or 1672, something like that. It's the 17th century. It's Port Royal, Jamaica, and it was a pirate town. It was considered the most wicked town in the world. It's a part of an English colony. England and Spain were at war, and it was a place that is sort of like it's part of a little tiny peninsula that sits outside the main coast, southern coast of Jamaica, and pirates would hang out there all the time. If you've seen Pirates of the Caribbean movie, where we first meet Jack Sparrow, that is Port Royal, and yeah, it was the Las Vegas, it was considered the most debauched place in the world, which is why Jack Sparrow would hang out there. Uh, in this case, it didn't survive because of a number of tragedies that all happened pretty much at the same time because of each other. It was hugely devastating. An earthquake struck, uh, literally just toppling buildings that in that era, uh, when the English would come to a new land, they'd pretty much build up uh, towns and cities in the same way that they built towns and cities in like London. And so you can see a lot of similarities between London and what they built up there in Jamaica. Um, and they really built this place up, and it was so crowded. They said the most it was probably about 8,000 people, and at one time, it's sort of like the gold rush era in the American West. People are just coming there to get rich because a lot of the pirates were given the license to attack Spanish ships. They became buccaneers. I learned a lot about in this. I didn't really. I mean, I knew about buccaneers and pirates and everything else, but I didn't know all the details of how it all worked together. And this pretty much explains it, and it pretty much explains how many of them died. It's With the earthquake came quicksand. They were basically built on this entire town was built on sand, and so the entire buildings, instead of breaking apart in some cases, they just sunk 15 feet. Uh, Even though there were many stories, and the water came in, knocked things over, they're still, as they examine here, they're still intact. It's kind of amazing some of the footage that they show you as these buildings are just, many hundreds of years old, and they're still together. They just shifted and sank. So after earthquake, quicksand came, of course, a tsunami. When you get an earthquake so close, to the water, that causes problems. And they were hit probably by multiple tsunami waves and things like that just obliterated this place. In fact, one ship was taken and lifted and pushed through the streets of the town, or what had been the town, and then just slammed into another building, and where it came to rest, looking like it was on top of the city. So, yeah, I'm telling you a whole lot of stuff that they're going to tell you in the documentary if you haven't watched it already. If you're interested in this kind of thing, obviously, this is one of the more fascinating ones to me. They've done Drain the Titanic, because, hey, can't be enough Titanic stuff on Disney Plus. But they also, I mean, they've drained different famous locations and things like that. And in this case, draining the this lost city, in a sense, is actually fascinating, because I mean, there's you can see where the tavern used to be, and it still has tons of bottles, still corked with alcohol in them, never disturbed. And it's kind of place that they say could have been a major modern port, like we see with Shanghai, or even like a big city like Manhattan, things like that. In this case, the way the foundation was, and the confluence of all these disasters all at once pretty much gave it a death sentence. And most people considered it to be God's wrath for these most sinful, evil, wicked, debaucherous people. Take that as what you will, but they pepper in with all this documentary stuff. It's science and drones and mapping and 3D digital whatever. They every once in a while they inject the very dramatic music, and they also have a dude reciting like letters or stories in the news from that time in very strong voice, speaking about the disaster and God's wrath and things like that. So they kind of ham it up a bit at the same time to make it more colorful. There's even a part in the very beginning when they start sending out the drones. They didn't even have to do this. I mean, but in order to add to the drama of their excavations and everything else, they sent out like a $500,000 drone, and it got beat up by somebody in a motorboat, and they lost all chance of getting anything done with that piece of technology, and had to come back 7 months later to finish their work. So yeah, there's a number of different angles they take at this. So you get a little bit of history, you get a little bit of understanding of nature and its ability to take back what is theirs. And if you want to attribute some sort of godly wrath to it, well, many people have already done that for you, and you can see what they had to say about this part of the world and what became of it. So it's one of the more interesting Drain documentaries in the series. But yeah, if you love pirate stuff, you love a little bit of pirate history, and just to see the devastation, the recreations I actually really like. They do some really great stuff with the digital scans they do, and I'll show you what it might look like had it not been destroyed, and what it looks like now through tons of cloudy water. That it's hard to see just even with your own eyes. And you're used to the Caribbean and all that stuff in that area, like blue, clear water. This is not that place. So, but they got it done anyway. So check it out if you get a chance. Let's check tomorrow's episode.
511.
511. Ooh, this might be interesting. What is today? Today's the 26th. Come on. Right? Nope. Okay. We're in the thes. I thought we were going to hit Star Wars. We're a couple days late for the anniversary of Star Wars, but nope, we're very well past Star Wars. We are watching what appears to be a movie, but I never heard of it. I don't know. We'll see. It is the Book of Once Upon a Time. I mean, there's a series by ABC and Disney called Once Upon a Time, which, has all their stuff, all the famous characters brought into a real-world setting. But I don't know if this is related to that or not, and why it would be a movie. Maybe it's labeled wrong. I don't know. We'll find out tomorrow. And if it turns out that it doesn't exist and it's some just weird thing, we'll be back in a second and I'll pick something else. But that's called The Book of Once Upon a Time on the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. And I'll see you back here tomorrow with that.